Okay, now for the research paper, I did want to go over this next part in the chapter 424, page 424, avoiding plagiarism. You want to avoid plagiarism. You want to really avoid plagiarism. I think it can happen in a couple of different ways. You need to cite your sources, so make sure that you are citing your sources. Parenthetically, and in a works cited, this is a research paper, so you do need to cite your sources. I'm going to so parenthetically is the in-text citation. I know you're learning more about that from LR10. The in-text citation or parenthetical citation is the arrow that leads to your works cited. So you've got your works cited, and that's your list of your sources, right? The parenthetical citation leads to that, because if you don't put the parenthetical citation in, so let's say someone's reading through your paper and they're like, oh, I love that quote. That is so cool. Let me look that up. Well, if you don't give them where to go, they're just going to look at like your list of all your sources and go, well, which one is it? Like you would have no idea, right? So this one where you put the last name of the author and page number, in MLA format, that lets the reader know which source to go to and what page number to look it up on your list of sources. So you need your parenthetical citation, meaning in parentheses, and then you need your full list in the back. All right, so you do want to make sure you are citing your sources. But here's the one that's a bit of a learning curve. But where the major problem with plagiarism that you want to really avoid is, I think it comes from being really stressed and waiting till the last minute perhaps. And we have the internet, which has a whole lot of stuff on it. And it can be really tempting, I guess, to just, try to buy a paper or something. And the thing is that it's really easy. It's easy to do. And it's also easy to figure out. So you're going to be putting it through Turnitin, which checks for plagiarism, and that comes out with information. It's really easy to spot, I can tell you on this end. I have a master's degree in English. I'm really good at research, and it breaks my heart to have to see plagiarism in a paper, but it's unacceptable. It can't happen. It takes away the whole academic integrity of the college. So if there's that kind of plagiarism, not just you forgot to write down, you forgot to, you didn't document one of your sources correctly, but actually taking someone's ideas, presenting them as your own without that documentation, that's a zero. That's a zero on the paper. And there's no way to make up for that because it's too late. It's the last paper that you're turning in. The other thing is that you get to meet with an official, usually one of the vice presidents of Solano College, and that person gets to decide if you're going to stay at Solano College. And it actually can be an ethics violation on your permanent record. It's huge. You don't want to go that route at all. It's really not anything anyone wants to deal with. It's honestly better to get an honesty than to go that route. So you want to just really avoid that. So it tells you a lot of ins and outs of how to avoid that specifically in that section, but that's sort of the nuts and bolts of it. All right, so that is that chapter, and I'll just mention really quickly, the next chapter, chapter 20, is all about documenting sources. Super awesome. And it has a handbook, an MLA handbook in the book. So it tells you how to document like every kind of source you can imagine. So, it just gives you that blueprint. And I know there are websites out there that can like do that for you, and that's super cool. I've just always done it, the old-fashioned way, and I like a model. So this gives you like that model. So I'm going to point you to a couple that are going to probably come in really handy for you, which is, one second, book. I'm looking. Here we go, page 435. 1, 2, 3, fourth one down on page 435 says a selection or chapter from an anthology or collection with an editor. That's exactly what we have in Literature and Its Writers. So there you go. That's exactly how to cite that. You would cite the person that wrote the story, like if it's Edgar Allan Poe, he goes first. Author's always the most important. They have to go first. Then it says the story. Like this is, they gave an example of Flannery O'Connor, A Good Man is Hard to Find, which is in our book if you want to check that story out. But say if it was Poe, Edgar Allan, The Fall of the House of Usher, right? And then it would say literature and its writers. Then you go for the editors, charters and charters, etc. All the information, just like they have it with the place it was published, with the date, publishing date, all of that. You put that in there. But that's a good one. You're going to need that one. You need it. You need it. You must cite the author. You must cite the author. I'm going to say that one more time. You must cite the author. You need to cite him or her parenthetically and in the work cited. They are hugely important. So you must cite the author. Okay. All right. And then there are, if you have any kind of, for some reason you're citing one of the documentaries, you could do that. I mean, it tells you how to do that here. And it just tells you again about that personal interview if you do that. And then what you're also going to need is electronic sources, MLA style, starting on page 440. These are going to be everything you get from your databases, articles, online. It's all going to come in this format of how to cite, right? And it gives every situation, newspapers, magazines, journals, etc. Just find whatever it is, scholarly journals, etc., and follow the format that it says, okay? And this is all for the works cited. I'm also going to show you, oh, look, this is like so cool. At the bottom, it even tells you like online postings and things like that, how to cite that. It's super cool. So tweets, we can cite tweets. Is that cute? So anyway, I don't know why I was so excited about all that. Okay, so anyways, because I've come from, like I said, when I was first doing research papers, I went to the library, got a stack of books, and now we can cite tweets. It's like, it's a big journey, All right, so stay away from APA style. They have it in here, so it's nice if you have other classes that you have use of APA, like criminal justice or nursing or psychology or something. You've got a resource on how to do it, but don't use it for this paper because English is MLA. All right, so I'm going, again, more sources. Okay, but I'm going to show you sample papers in the book. Really, really important. By this time, you should totally know how to do your name and class information MLA style. This should be really second nature at this point. So, but here it is, how to do that, right, with your name and class information, your last name and the page number on the right. So MLA formatting. Okay, but here, this is super cool. This gives you a sample research paper and what the parenthetical citation should look like. So you can check this out and yours should look like this. Okay, so for example, we do parenthetical citations, and we're back, when I was first writing papers, we made the little one, like a footnote kind of thing. We don't do that anymore. We do parenthetical citations, okay? So I'm going to show you an example, and you can check this out. Let me just find a good one here. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Page 459. If you'll notice, it has the person's last name, the student's last name, and the page number there. I'm just going to point that out. But here is this information, even if it's not a quote, but you got the information and you paraphrased it and you put it in your own words, but you got that information from somewhere other than your head, you need to cite it. So notice here, they put the last name of the author and the page number. I know that's from a print source. We know that. If it's from the internet, you don't have to put the page number now. So you would just put the author's last name. If you have an author, the author's last name is what you put. Okay, so if you have an author, that's what goes in the parenthetical citation, right? So I'm going to use my own name here, Ryan, right? So if the author's last name is Ryan and it's a print source, page 35 or something like that. Internet, we don't need the page number. It's Ryan, right? What if you have an article, but it doesn't have an author attributed to it? That happens sometimes, especially like for newspapers. Then what you do is this. titles of articles go in quotes. So maybe this is postpartum depression today or something. Okay, that's the title of the article, but there's no given author, right? So you would just put the title of the article in quotes in that parenthesis, okay? And that if it's print, put the page number, internet, no page number, okay? So author, the person that wrote it is the most important. So if you have an author, you have to put their last name. If you don't have an author, you can then put the title of the article. If you don't have either of those, so let's say it came from a website. It came from a home page of the website, the home page. Then if it's not under the heading of an article on the website and you don't know who wrote it, you can put then the home page of the website. That's rare. Honestly, it doesn't happen that much. Okay, so just check out this sample paper though, because it's really, really good. It gives you exactly how to do that. All right, and then I'm going to gives you all kinds of samples and examples about how to do that. But then the next thing I want to show you is the works cited. Sample works cited on page 465. So notice alphabetical order for your sources, right? You've learned how to do that hanging indent in LR10, so notice that, right? And just, you just format it, just like they did here, right? So I'm just going to give you that. Check it out, and then let me know, or Professor Tim Madigan, let him know if you have questions on that. He's definitely an expert on that. All right, so that's, in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I wanted to go over for those two chapters to get you prepared for the research paper. So again, let me know if you have questions. I'm really excited about reading the research papers. I love to hear people's ideas, and this is, and just try not to be intimidated by it. Just try to know that this is kind of a time to really show off your awesome essay skills and compiling that research, but under the heading of your thesis statement in your topic sentences. All right.